scrap. One day, Percy is pulling the mail train. The sun was rising as he puffed along the line. One more stop, then I'll head back to the sheds for a rest. Percy pulled into Marin Station. As he was waiting for the last of his mail to be dropped off, he saw Edward puffing past, light engine. Percy found it unusual. "Hello, Edward. Where you off to?" "I'm going to the scrapyard today," he called out. "Wait, what?" Before Percy could ask, Edward was gone. Percy was horrified at what he had heard. Percy was worried as he puffed along the line back to the sheds. He thinks that Edward himself is the object of being scrapped. "I can't let that happen," he said. "What's what?" said his driver. Nothing." He decided to tell the others about it. He met up with Henry, who was puffing on the opposite track on the opposite direction. Percy explained what Edward had told him, and this leaves Henry shocked. "Are you sure, Percy?" "Yes," said Percy. "Edward has been on this island for many years, and he would never wanted to retire, or even worse, be scrapped." "Well, we can't let that happen," said Henry. "I'll tell the others about this." Henry and Percy spread the word around, and one by one the engines learned the news, and soon the yard is full of upset engines. They all agree that Edward is still a reliable engine, and that they must inform the Fat Controller, but are very nervous about doing so. "Come on, guys, we had to tell him. He can save Edward from being scrapped. The quicker we tell him, the sooner we can save him." "Well, Percy does have a point," Thomas said. "Well, let's do this." The Fat Controller was enjoying hot buttered toast and tea at MC Bun's. Suddenly, he could see lots of engines crowding the yards. "What's going on there?" he said, and hurried off to the yards. The engines calmly waited in the sidings at the yards, waiting for the Fat Controller to arrive. He arrived on board Toby. "Alright, engines, what is going on here?" Percy was the first to speak. "Well, you see, sir, it's about Edward." "What is what about me?" said a voice. It was Edward puffing up, with a train of trucks filled with scrap metal. The engines were relieved to see Edward, and then glared at Percy. Percy looked down at his buffers. He knew there was a big misunderstanding. You see, sir, everyone, Edward told me that he was going off to the scrapyard, and I worriedly thought that he was going to be sent for scrap. And that's why I got you all here together to talk about saving Edward from being scrap." "Scrap?" "Oh, silly Percy. I was going to the scrapyards to collect trucks filled with scrap." See, that clarified the situation here. Now Percy felt ashamed. "Well, I see that all of you engines here got in a bit of a Percy misunderstood situation here. And Percy, next time you really hear something, you better think twice before calling all us here." "Yes, sir. I'm sorry, everyone." "Back to work, all of you. And you, Percy, I think you should help Edward to move these trucks to make up for this situation." "Yes, sir. I will, sir." "Thank you for clearing up the situation back there." "No problem, Percy. And I do understand your concern over me, and I do appreciate it. And to make up, I'm going to help you with the train." "That would be grateful, Percy." Both engines puffed along the track with trucks filled with scrap metal, and they worked happily together throughout the journey.